welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Ghosts. And
Hello.
Today we have some interesting stuff. It's a cold and dreary day, so it was kind of a YouTube afternoon. And so we were looking around for something interesting, and we found a couple of things. The first thing we saw was a scary, paranormal, active, haunted Antwerp mansion. So that's in Manchester, England. And I think I've heard of this place before, but I don't know if I've ever really paid much attention.
No.
This was a group called Skuk TV Paranormal.
What, skunk?
No, Skuk. S-K-U-K.
Suck.
Unless I misread that. No, Skuk. And it looked to me a team of women, investigators. So, and not that that's a bad thing, but in this case, it might well have been.
Mm-hmm.
So they said that this was a 9-hour lockdown, and what they were showing us was basically from the first half of it. I wish they would have shown us none of it.
None of it.
Anyway, it started out, first of all, it goes straight into the investigation. There's no real...
Credits. No.
Well, there's no real entry. All it does is it says, it flashes the words across the screen. This was a 9-hour, blah, blah. This is the first half hour. So no real opening. It just right into it. And I find that very disjointing. When you don't quite know where you are, what's going on, and then boom, you're right into it. It's disjointing. It's hard to get into it. So at first, the first thing I noticed was the audio was a bit tinny. Now it did get better as things went on, but I'm wondering if the tinniness was partly doing some noise removal that affected the actual audio for that section. I don't know, but that's a possibility. The video, when they were moving around, if you'd ever seen the Blair Witch Project, when the video is jumping up and down and you feel like you want to throw up, that's what this was like.
Yeah.
So no steady cam, they're just moving around and so that was hard.
And they fast forwarded it, and they showed it being fast forwarded.
Yeah, like just cut it and move to the next scene. That would be okay. So, one of the chicks, and I don't know her name, redhead, she seems to be the one that likes to be on camera the most. So maybe it's her group.
Yeah.
She spent a big deal of time with the camera on her as she's listening for stuff.
And that was it.
It was boring, and she put up her finger when she thinks she heard something. But this is an old mansion. There's going to be noises.
Yeah.
So anyway, we watched that part. Then they went in to do the Estes method, and there was 2 women sitting side by side with their noise canceling.
Maybe a bit of both.
Oh, God. And then there was the person in the back behind the camera that was doing the questioning. Now, it was bad enough that these 2 were sitting side by side, spouting stuff out. It was really hard to keep track of. But not only that, there was somebody else with the person doing the questions. Yeah. So there was multiple voices back there, too, of questions and comments. And it's like, holy God, people, what are you saying? So these 2 women with the headphones on trying to communicate, I guess, were just spouting out words.
Random things.
Nothing made any sense to any of the questions being asked. There was the one that actually had the blindfold on. She was a bit better. She would say stuff that she was feeling as well as just spouting out stuff. I think she might have been more tuned in than the other one, who seemed to me was just spouting out shit.
Yeah.
It was very confusing.
Like, fuck off.
Well, there was just a bunch of crap. There was just a bunch of crap. So it was very confusing. We ended up fast forwarding through it because it was going on and on and on.
Yeah.
I understand that people want to have all their stuff up on YouTube because the longer they can have you watching it, the more money they can make if it's monetized. But you also want to make it engaging for your viewer, and it really wasn't.
And giving the finger.
Oh yeah, listen. So, speaking of giving the finger, we
turned it off.
No, not yet. We actually fast forwarded past a bunch of the Estes stuff, and then we watched a little bit more of the investigation, and then a little bit more. We fast forwarded again. It's just so damn boring, and really very, very amateur-y. This is like a group of people who've seen ghost hunting on TV and then decided they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Don't really know what they're doing. Just a bunch of bullshit.
Bunch of shite.
Just a bunch of bullshit. We got about halfway through and turned it off.
Yeah.
I would say if I wanted just some noise in the background and I wasn't really paying attention, I might be okay with it. But I absolutely will not look up this group again.
Yeah.
Because it was so badly done. Very, very amateur-y.
Yeah.
And, not everything has to be professionally done for YouTube. But
You want a certain
quality, some quality to it. If you're putting it up for human consumption, you want it to, I have this feeling that the only people that watch that stuff are going to be their own friends, their family and friends, and then other people such as us who stumble across it by accident.
Oh.
This was an hour and 13 minutes, and we didn't even get the full half. No. We didn't even get a halfway in because it was bad. So I'm very sorry, folks. Your work is shit. So then, now we're jaded. The afternoon is spent with this god-awful thing. So what do we want to watch? Now we're looking for something else. Because, you guys want to have something more for us to talk about than just 7 minutes of complaining about Skuk Paranormal.
Skuk Paranormal?
Yeah, they were really sucky. So we're scrolling through. And I hate YouTube's algorithms. Yeah. They show you the stuff you've seen over and over and over. I want something new. And even if you go and search paranormal, you're still getting all the same stuff that you've seen before. Mm. So it's like, no, sometimes I want to find new stuff. So I had seen this paranormal nightmare TV series stuff before, and we thought it was, somebody just taking something from television. There's that paranormal, My Paranormal Nightmare, all those different shows. I thought that's what it was. But we glanced through. We actually watched a show last night that we didn't review. It was an Omar Gosh, I happen to like Omar Gosh, TV show where he did, there was like three or four different investigations with different YouTubers. And then they compiled them all into this 3 hour, I think it was 2.5 hours.
Might.
But it was good. We enjoyed it. Yeah. One of the characters in it was this guy from Paranormal Nightmare
Josh.
TV, Josh. So we saw it and we thought, you know what, let's watch it. Yeah. I enjoyed it very much.
Yes. Yeah.
It was a very good history in the beginning of the problem, with the interview with the gentleman with his issue. He was talking about his brother who had committed suicide, and how prior to his death he was into the occult, and he was studying witchcraft and all kinds of darker kind of stuff. And so this particular episode was called Face to Face with Satan. Well, I disagree with that, but I understand the need to get people's attention. Yeah. But I didn't see any Satan there, although that's not to say this place couldn't have been haunted by a demonic spirit. It's very possible there was something very dark there. So it starts out with Josh, whom we were familiar with from the Omar Gosh show. Mm-hmm. And he goes into this house by himself. And he does an EVP session, a spirit box session, etc. And gets a lot of activity on the equipment they have in the back bedroom. Which is where I think the guy, Brandon, the client had said that he was having the most trouble.
Yeah.
But he did also say, he was having trouble through the whole house.
Yeah.
The whole house. So interesting.
Yeah.
But most of the activity was in the back.
Scott got
Sean
got more activity upstairs when he went upstairs.
The first time, yeah. So after Josh came back out, then Sean, that's his partner. So there's just the two gentlemen. Brother?
Yeah.
Well, that explains why they look kind of similar. And to be fair, I saw the first thing I said when I saw Sean was, that hair in his nostrils really going to bother me. Because it was in the night vision camera. It turned out it wasn't a hair, it was a nose ring. So, but as a night vision camera, sometimes those angles, you just can't see what you see. Anyway, their styles were very different. I found Josh to be much calmer. I wouldn't say more respectful, but just a gentler approach. Whereas Sean was a bit more gruff, a bit more aggressive. I wouldn't say aggressive. Yeah, maybe I would say aggressive. So their styles were very different, which I think is a complementary thing. Yeah. It works well when you have good cop, bad cop, kind of. But to be fair, Sean was not calling out whatever was there badly or anything like that. But it was good. Yeah. One of the questions he asked was, "Are you having fun scaring me?" And he was using on one of his sensors a red light and a green light. So, obviously red means no, green means yes. And he got a green light for that one. So that was kind of interesting. Then he came out, they both went back in together. And that's really when all the lights and alarms and all that kind of stuff was going crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
The music box.
The little music box was just going, yeah. And then they would leave the room and didn't it say come back?
Yeah.
And started playing the music box so that they would go back. And that happened a couple of times. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. And now there was a spot where they used the SLS camera. Now, you're not big on SLS cameras.
You can point it at something and it shows a figure. Mm-hmm. And it moves and, and I just don't trust them.
Yeah. After seeing how they work.
Yeah.
This one I was on the fence about.
But still.
But it was sitting in one of the easy chairs and it looked like it was sitting because the legs were bent and everything.
Because there's 4 legs that they can pick up.
I've not seen that before. Usually I see it straight, their legs are straight out and it's sitting there. So this time it did. And at first I was questioning whether it was mapping the chair or not as well. Because to me it was just too perfect. And then it asked, Josh asked for it to reach out and touch him. And it took a couple of minutes, but it did. Not only with one of his arms, but also it leaned over with his head. Uh-huh. Did you hear that big crash in our kitchen?
Our ghost.
That's our ghost telling us to shut up and move on. So anyway, so I'm on the fence. Was that something sitting there? Was it not?
I don't think so. You can be the glass half full and I'll be
a good cop, bad cop. I don't know. Like, there are times when I absolutely do not believe in the SLS.
Because when he had his hand out, he was moving it up and down and...
Yeah, I know. But
so
I'm like I said, I'm on the fence about that one.
Yeah.
It could be. It could have been.
Well, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yes, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But anyway, so a little bit more of investigating, asking questions. You said Scott. Yeah. That was one of the answers that came up a few times when they asked the name. Who's here? Yeah. What's your name? Yeah. Scott. So I don't know who Scott is. So that was interesting. Yeah. And then they did get something about a father. His name was Frank. Got a couple of names. Yeah. And I don't know how those correspond to the family.
They never give it the family.
Yeah, I don't think they did. They did ask, whose house is this? And it came out with Brandon. Yeah. And that was correct. Yeah. That was the name of the client. So yeah, I mean, there was, I think, more than one spirit in that house.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. But for sure, if there was one, he was real busy.
Yeah.
And then in the end, after this investigation, they made it very clear that they were going to cleanse the site.
Yeah.
And they did. Josh went in with he was wearing his rosary, and he had some holy water, and he went in, said some prayers.
Yeah.
He did the sign of the cross on every door, window, portal with the holy water.
And this finger.
Yeah, just drawing a picture of the cross with, how people do that. And after that, they said it seemed calmer. They're hoping that Brandon's brother AJ has moved on, because it seems like maybe he has. He might have been feeling guilty because he committed suicide, and so he didn't want to leave. Or maybe he was affected by something and was worried for his brother. I mean, who knows?
Or he was just...
Or he wasn't there at all, and it was something else.
And conflicted soul, and he decided, well, I can't deal with this anymore.
Well, people commit suicide for lots of reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, he did warn his parents that he was going to hang himself that day, and he did. They thought he was joking. People, folks, if anyone ever tells you they're going to commit suicide, do not take it as a joke. Sometimes it might be just attention-seeking behavior, but you don't know that.
Yeah.
You don't know that. Call for help. Yeah. Call the authorities in. I had a friend once who her husband was just a guy that had some issues and stuff. And one day he was threatening that he was going to kill himself with this ceremonial sword collection that he had. So he was going to take his sword down and kill himself. I don't take that lightly. I called the police. Had them come out and check him out. They spent a good deal of time with him, determined that he was not going to kill himself. He got mad at me later on, but you know what? I don't care. Yeah. Don't threaten if you're not prepared to deal with the consequences. Mm-hmm. And the consequences are someone might care about you.
Might.
Somebody just might. So, and if they care about you, they're not going to let you kill yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 2 episodes. One was a dud. One was a gem.
Yeah.
We have subscribed to Paranormal. What the hell is that called? There's so many Paranormal Nightmare TV. Yeah. So we'll be watching some more of those. Sometime down the road we might watch another one for review.
Yeah.
If we can't find anything else to talk to you about. But we're pretty good about finding stuff. These little twerks. If you are following us on Twitter, by all means, if you see something you'd like us to take a look at,
or
send us a message.
One that you made yourself. And
if you want an opinion, we're going to give it to you, and we'll give you the truth.
Yeah.
Sometimes truth hurts, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I am more than willing to praise where I feel there's potential, or, give suggestions, thoughts, ideas. I mean, we all like to watch paranormal programming. That's why we're here. Yeah, we like the good stuff. The weak stuff that has potential, I'm willing to put in the time and see how things progress. In fact, speaking of, I'd like to go back sometime and watch one of those Travel the Deads to see, now that they've been doing it a little bit, if the production is better. Yeah. I still very much enjoy Katrina Weidman. The show in the beginning was a bit shaky.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go back and see if that's improved.
Yeah.
I think we should probably do that. Maybe we'll do that.
No.
Just not today.
Yeah.
There's so much more other stuff out there. Yeah. Tons of stuff out there. Yeah. And we will pluck what we can find. Let you know, should you watch it or should you not.
Yep.
So 1 to watch, 1 not to.
Yes.
That's it for us for today. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Stay warm, stay dry.
Happy hunting.
Happy haunting. Bye now.